Yeah, I went over the questions you had real quick. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shoot, not the op.gg.
I think nah, it's just some quick stuff. I just want to go over some builds with you. Oh, this is the wrong one.
Oh, I need to add my other scrims in. Yeah, I know I
That's
have a
okay. That's
few.
okay. Okay. Let me see what I had here. Okay. Just in general, your notes, like I think the first batch of notes you had, the first timer or the first couple of timers was like the YouTube timer, and then the rest were like
Yeah, yeah,
the
it
in-game
was. Yeah,
timers.
I
Okay, so
got. I got lost. I forgot. I need to make it more consistent, but I forgot which
yeah,
one I
just
did.
do. I prefer in-game. Okay, that's probably easier for me. If you do the in-game timers. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then like same thing with your Tom Kench notes. I think I put two Tom Kench VODs. Maybe you didn't see the first one, but I found out I had to like look a little bit to find out that it was the second one that you're talking about.
Yeah, probably the two views one.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, the first one I
Probably.
think is a better representation of a Tom Kench game because the one you went over, it's still good obviously, but it was like a stomp, so there's
It
less
was
to
a
learn.
wipe, right? Is that why it was bad? 'Cause it was
What?
a wipe.
Yeah, or it's not. I wouldn't say it's bad, but there's just like less to learn because it's a stomp.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that's why my notes were kind of less. Like after four
Yeah.
minutes, so I couldn't really.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I would say if you have time and if you're curious about if you want to learn Tom Kench and stuff, I think the first vid is probably better for you. Okay.
For
Um,
sure.
okay. And then yeah, there's some builds. I was like looking at your OPGG and stuff, doing my OPGG stalking, you know.
Bro, my blitz. Oh my god.
Let me
I
see what I
thought
had
my
here.
blitzcrank in that one scrimmage. I thought I could bring it to solo queue. It was quite questionable.
Yeah, no, no worries. Like, I think I'm noticing you're still maxing W on Rel, which I don't think is the worst, but like they
Is
recently
he?
nerfed her E, but I think at least Core JJ, I'm assuming if Core JJ is still maxing E, then other pros are still maxing E. Do you know what I mean? So, um,
Oh,
like
yeah,
this is
because
her
I
E.
think
Yeah.
it was. Yeah. I mean, I was just told to max W, but if it's E, then
Yeah. Like this is her
obviously.
E. It got nerfed a couple patches ago, but I think it's still the move. So it should be E max and then Q max. Okay. And then W should be last. So the W I think is, I guess from what they're judging, it should be the least value.
I see.
Yeah, but I guess it should be always Q max second because it'll lower the cooldown of your Q, which is pretty nice.
Okay,
Um,
not too bad.
okay. And
I didn't hear
then
any. Were you talking right then? Or any of that?
who?
You?
Wait, can you not hear me? Or
Wait, like now I can hear you.
oh shoot. Sorry. Wait, what was the last thing I said? I might have disconnected.
You said something E, and then it just went out.
Okay. Yeah, I think sorry, I think my mic cut out. It should be Emax and then Qmax is what I'm saying.
Okay, and then W
Um
loud.
because the Q every point you put in Q will lower the cooldown, which is pretty nice, is what I'm saying.
Mm,
Okay. Um
nice.
and then let me see. Okay, I think there's some games where I think after I know like when they nerfed Warmogs, it was like we are um increasing the priority of like Locket and Zeke's convergence, right? Because they've been nerfing Warmogs continuously, right?
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
but I think there's some games where I think Zeke's feels really bad. So like I would say generally if they have like any sort of AoE damage, I would think Locket is generally probably better. So like even this game, um, you see their champions. Let me pull my pen. Like fuck. Like Locket is really good against Karthus ult specifically, and then I would say that's like probably the main driver for Locket. And then I mean I think it's just pretty good still in the team fights against like Nyla ult and that kind of crap, right? But I'd say the main driver for like sorry. I guess what I'm trying to say is like I think you should go Locket this game because the main driver should be the Karthus ult. We want to negate that as much as possible because that shit is fucking stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
If I'm like steamrolling early game, do you think it's still is it like a greedy item, or should I just always just go locked in if it's
No, I don't think it's a greedy item at all. Yeah, like I would go lock it based on the enemy champs. Um,
okay?
Yeah, like whether you're winning or not, I don't think it matters. It's just a comp kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Uh, Same thing here, right? Also another Karthus. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the main driver, and then it's still a good item in team fights and stuff like that. I personally don't really like Zeke's unless you're facing like a lot of melee champs where you can have like a lot of value out of Zeke's personally, but I'd say generally Locket is probably better than Zeke's right now, from what I can tell.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, like even your Blitzcrank game, right? Um, like Z or Locket is definitely better this game because like I mean they have
For the
like
cat and
Cat
all that. Yeah.
Morgana. Like this Shyvana build is like really AoE heavy, right? That
Yeah.
do you know the Shyvana build? Like this kind of crap is super AoE heavy, right? So we definitely
The
need Locket
spam.
this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um okay, so that is something real quick. I think there's a couple games I saw where you Abyssal Mask has pretty good value, so like I guess do you know what Abyssal Mask does? Can you explain it to me?
Yeah, like reduce their AP or their resistance, and we do more AP.
Good, good, good. So,
What's going on here, fellas?
what's
Oh my
good,
god.
bro? There's a
What?
game.
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay, like this game, Abyssal Mask has to be pretty good, right? Do you see this game? Why is Abyssal Mask good
So
here?
Bro, just do
we
math.
we have two APs and they have literally like four APs
Right,
basically.
right. Do you see it? That's like when you would go Abyssal Mask. They just
So
nerfed
would it
this item, but I'm pretty sure it's so good.
would it be Locket and then Abyssal Mask?
Yeah, probably, yeah. They just have so much magic this game. And I'd say like this is probably more of a solo queue thing because it's pretty rare that I'd say it's like impossible in competitive where they would have this much magic damage, right? But I'd say like it's more about like your thinking process, like when you're looking at enemy comps and stuff like that, trying to make your decision and adjusting your build based on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so yeah, that one for sure you should go Abyssal Mask, and then let me see your most recent row game, like this one, your Shaco ends up going AP, but this is also a good Abyssal Mask kind of game, right? Do you see it?
We have Fizz and I mean Shaco, and then they have Shavana and Viger. I think I see it less to be honest, but
Yeah,
I
that's fair. I think, yeah, you're right. Like you do need some armor at one point, so it is something to consider. But I think it's not bad this game as well. Okay. Even this Jax kind of champ does a decent amount of magic damage.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
with
Okay.
the
And then okay, your Nami runes. So like they recently changed how biscuits work. Did you read it or do you remember what they
yeah, it's like
changed?
full health now, right? No,
Mhm.
no mana. And
Mhm.
I don't know what to choose instead. I've tried boots. I kind of like that. I've
Mhm.
tried the potion, and I think I like that as well, but I can't really tell.
Which potion? This one?
Yeah, that one. I
Okay.
kind of like that, but it's not the craziest.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess so. Like none of the pros are playing on this patch because they're all at Worlds or whatever. So like
Wouldn't champions usually go revitalize?
I think so. Yeah, I think if you're going Resolve, yeah, it makes sense. But like, um, I think Richard, we talked about this before, but like you can either go Resolve secondary or Inspiration secondary, right? So like, in my opinion, you should go Resolve if the lanes are like harder. So
yeah,
um,
you said this one was more or inspiration is more greedy, and
yeah, a little bit more greedy.
I'm a
Yeah,
gambler. Stop
but like
by.
I think if you're going inspiration, you should just take the free boots, in my
Okay.
opinion. Okay, so yeah, I think no more biscuits because like the whole reason you're taking biscuits is for the mana, right? And they took that away, so no more biscuits. I think it's probably free boots and cosmic insight. Maybe you could argue free boots in this, but I like cosmic insight personally, so it's kind of up to your preference, but I would always take free boots here.
Cool.
Uh,
And for melee, would you? It's usually hex flash, and then I kind of like biscuits for the just sustain, but I don't know.
you're saying like melee champs, right? Like Nautilus and Rel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you have to have Cosmic Insight because like you'll notice when you're playing Rel, it's like when you have Flash versus when you don't have Flash, it's like it affects your engage so much. Do you know what I mean?
I
So you
see.
need the
Yeah.
Cosmic Insight because that gives you Summoner Spell Haste. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that shit
Cool.
is really important. That's like the same reason why like, mm, well, I guess not. Okay, yeah, like there's the same reason why like a lot of junglers will take Cosmic Insight. I guess for the first reason is like you have more smites, right? Like you have better smite cooldown, and then like there's certain champs or certain jungle champs like Lilia who really rely on their flash to make an engage happen. So
Yeah.
okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, and then I guess if you're going the resolve tree, like in a especially hard matchup, I guess you don't really see it too often in solo queue, but if you're facing like Caitlyn Lux, that's like really harass heavy or something like that. I think resolve has some merit as well. You could take second win and then revitalize, like David was talking about. Um,
Sounds good.
okay, cool. And yeah, I would say like in a lot of your melee support games, I know I told you like a month ago that like if you need healing reduction, you can go Bramble Vest as an option, but I think you are prioritizing it a little bit too much in your games, is what I'm saying. Like, mm, you're going it like almost every game, and like I'd say like my initial comment about that is more for or is more important for like solo queue, where like a lot of your teammates in solo queue won't buy healing reduction when it's especially important. Do you know what I mean? So then
Yeah.
like we need some form of healing reduction. Since it's solo queue, it's like hard to coordinate with other people. Then sometimes you might have to get the Bramble Vest. But I would say ideally, and especially in competitive, it should never be on you to get the healing reduction if we need it, because I guess first of all, it's like a little bit hard for you to apply the healing reduction as a melee support, right? Like this kind of healing reduction is like dependent on them auto attacking you, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a little bit easier for mages in general to apply healing reduction. So that's like the first factor, and the second factor is like you just don't have a lot of gold as a support. So like by the time you get healing reduction, a lot of the times it's going to be super super late, and it's like too late. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would say like this is more of a solo queue kind of thing. So like if you do buy this in solo queue, really make sure that your teammates aren't already getting healing reduction. Okay.
Sounds good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then a couple other comments about that, like um okay, there's like let me see. Like this game, so if you look at their comp, I mean healing reduction is not bad against like, Nyla and Volibear. It's not bad, right? It's not like super giga important unless the Nyla is super fed. But like you look at this, I guess I pull up your OPGG and like the Nyla is super behind, the Volibear is super behind. So like in these kinds of games where they're so behind that, they're basically one-shottable at that point. You know what I mean? Like then you don't really need the healing reduction. The healing reduction doesn't get much value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so just think about that. Okay, and then okay, that's all I had about some of your OPGG builds. Do you have any questions about builds or anything like that?
Nope. I feel like builds are just like once you learn it, it's kind of just like.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like. Yeah, I just wanted to align on it because
Ooh,
that's something
the
that we
that
can get
Nautilus,
right. Yeah.
that Nautilus game you see right there, the 47-minute game. I
Yeah.
finally, in my first time ever playing support, while the Vigilant Wardstone
Yeah.
for I
Yeah,
found it
I
really.
would say this is also something that like pretty much. Yeah, this is really just like a solo queue thing. I would say you almost never have this much gold as a support. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it was actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. And I think okay, sorry, that actually reminds me like I would put I would start buying like the elixir of irons earlier.
Early, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's
I
like sorry, good. Yeah.
I usually buy it once there's like once if there is something coming out
Like a big
like
objective or something.
yeah like fourth dragon like soul dragon or baron.
hmm
But I know you said like I know it slows your stunt a little.
Like your item growth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but I feel
Yeah.
like it's like too much stunt. I don't know, like 500 just for my team to like drift off and get around. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of disgusting. But
No, I understand what you mean. Yeah, this is like it's a very interesting thing for like supports, but I would say it's like especially on melee supports, like you really only need I would say two core items max, like realistically. That's like if you watch like the core JJ VODs I sent you, right, or like any pro supports POV, like when they're playing the melee supports, they look so poor. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because they're
no,
constantly
literally.
buying pink wards, and then yeah, if you watch any pro support POV, like they'll start buying the elixir of irons like pretty early. So I'm talking about like 1.5, two core items. They'll start spending their money on elixir of irons because it's like it's because you're not getting much gold at all. It's especially important that like you're as tanky as you can possibly be with the gold that you have. And like the elixir of iron, like it's 500 gold for 300 health, which is pretty nuts. Like in terms of like that's like pretty um, incomparable to any other health item, if that makes sense.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it is really good. I would say yeah, I think it's because like you are used to playing enchanters, and obviously enchanters get more gold, right? So like you're more used to finishing your items, and I guess also enchanter items are more broken than the melee support items in general. So um, yeah, I think kind of just change your mindset, change your perspective a little bit when you're playing the melee supports. Um, it's not so much about your individual item spikes, it's just about being as tanky as you can possibly be in that moment. Um, okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, so that's like the last comment I had with builds, and then we can go over the initial questions you had. Um, so you said you watched this row game.
I was kind of nitpicky with the plays, but I mean, someone of this status should not be making mistakes. So
No, yeah, I mean, even the pros make mistakes, right? So, um, it's good that you're asking these questions or like you're trying to like critique them. I think it's good to question some of the stuff they do. Like I know we watched like the BOG on Alistar stuff, and like I think some of the stuff he did was a little bit weird. Like I don't know if like some of the stuff he did was so weird, like I can't tell if it's right. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's good to question that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I looked at your questions and I tried to answer them and then add a little bit more stuff as well. So I think the first question and comment that you had was at I have it at like 2:20. So I'll just speed this up. I guess it's coming up in 30 seconds, so we can just watch this. I'll turn the audio on too.
I'll push now.
Okay. I'll use a tablet.
Yeah, no, he's not the brand.
You can try.
Who's the Kai'Sa?
It's Yon, his AD.
Well,
Do
I feel like the Qs he's doing are like very low value. I don't know.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can.
from the team.
It's like a balance between like you want to get your creeps versus harass, right?
Yeah, that's true.
In this position, it's not bad. We can try.
Oh, from the team. Fucking off.
I think he feels like he's losing the push, so then maybe he feels inclined to Q here.
Yeah, that's.
I'll push now. Okay,
I'll use a tablet.
yeah, no, he's not the brand.
It's more like they just need to be on the same page, right? So like core should never engage when the Kai'Sa Q is down. That's like the most important part.
Yeah.
You can
I'm trying to get used to calming like at like that level 1 and level 2, like my ability cooldown.
Yeah, like honestly, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of matchups where like the level 1 there's like a lot of shit going on. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I will do
Eventually, I'm gonna look for it.
Maybe.
Nothing. Too far. Got it. We have a prio.
Yeah,
Couple 6 seconds. Look here.
the present.
And I'm looking for.
I'd say this is a bit awkward because you actually, yeah, because you actually wasted Kai'Sa W. Do you remember?
Yeah,
This is actually a little bit.
Eventually, I'm gonna look.
it's a weird engage because Kai'Sa missed the W.
Nothing. Too far. Got it.
Yeah, so that's one thing I always wondered. Like, are you like after when you get level 2 first, are you just supposed to like throw your W like and him as
Yeah.
poke? Or do you like when you play with engage? I feel like it's better to save it. Right?
Yeah, I feel like
Zone.
I kind of agree with you where like yeah, that shit does so much damage. You know what I mean? Like that ability
Yeah,
by
like,
itself
it
does so much
costs two
damage.
passive
Yeah,
thingy.
exactly. So I do think it's a little bit weird,
We have a
or
Prio.
maybe
Yeah.
he just actually no,
Double
the
CC
Jin hits 2 here. I don't know. Maybe he. Yeah, I don't really know what the thinking is here,
Okay.
honestly. Like
How long is it cooldown on the W?
it's quite
That's like 20
long.
seconds.
Like
Yeah,
15.
It's 20 seconds earlier, 19 or
it's
something.
20?
it's super
Wait, let
long.
me check.
Yeah, I can check. I can
Kaisa,
check. Yeah.
I thought it was like 15. Holy shit, I didn't know it's like 20.
It's super long though. Oh, 22. Holy shit. Yeah, and that shit.
I don't know, wait, 22 is kind of high.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
kind of high.
Yeah, I'm
So
looking
yeah,
for-
I think it makes sense to save it personally.
The flash
He's
check.
on the rock, okay, he's
Nice
rock.
stuff.
First time top heavy. Yeah, he's tapping bot.
Oh, he didn't.
And I think,
Double 3 seconds.
yeah, Richard, your first comment is like why did he Q flash instead of flash W, right? That was your comment or your question.
For the Guardian, yeah.
Yeah, and I think like I would say like flash
I mean, I know
W.
Guarantees it.
Yeah.
At the same time, like if they were gonna, I don't know. I feel like Flash W is still relatively kind of fast. That can they really react to it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's really just to guarantee it. Like, if they like at this level of play, like if you flash W, they're for sure gonna react in time because it's not like that insane to react to. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
yeah, because like just the rel W is a little bit clunky looking and it's a little bit slow, so it is definitely reactable. So I would say that's probably like the main reason why you Q flash just to guarantee your W.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah, I assumed that, but I wasn't sure if it. Yeah.
Yeah, the only like the reason like why when you hit level 6 as rel you can flash W R is because of your R. Do you know what I mean? Like where they can't really react, or it's a lot harder to react because your R is pulling them in, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's my main answer for you. Yeah, I would say like there's a chance where like if he flash W's and the Jin flashes out, he's gonna eat a lot. He's gonna get punished pretty hard. Do you know what I mean? He's gonna lose like half his HP bar probably.
That's fair.
Um,
I can see
so
that.
yeah, okay. I think that's really the idea. Yeah, I would say like ideally you save your Q for the shield break, but I just don't think it's possible. Yeah. Okay, your next comment is 330. Okay. So we'll just watch this out. I think your question might be about the wave that's
YC.
bouncing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
No.
I think this is something that I see you. I guess it's maybe considered a mistake from you, where like a lot of times you'll base with David, but in reality, like sometimes you need to stay and hold this wave.
Yeah. Well,
We can play this out, right? So you're saying like, I think you're saying that you would have based in this situation.
yeah, I think I would have based, and I think that we would have made it back in time, but I don't know.
Yeah, we can look at like the mini map, right? Let's
Yeah.
see where the Kaiser comes back. So the Jin is gonna push a little bit slower because he saw the Hex Flash,
That-
right? But
yeah.
like if you didn't base, then this wave is pretty much dead, right? Because like if you didn't see core here and core based, then this wave is dead, right? Basically.
But even here he doesn't base, right? I think he does he base. And then he stays again.
Yeah. I think. Sorry, I know the settings gear is blocking. You might be right. You actually might be right. I think. Yeah, I think even if he doesn't base, it looks like it would probably stay here, right? That's what you're saying. Right? That's what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I mean, yeah.
It might be like
that's-
here, right?
Yeah. Like I don't see the purpose of that second time that he showed again.
You don't see a purpose of, like him staying here. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, 'cause I think the wave comes back in time.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're probably right.
at least
Yeah, I'm not
like
sure
I don't
what
know.
his
I don't
second
think it's worth it for him to use a pot to stay, and then I mean he could have gone back and got a crystal, but
I think he also wants to stay to
He
like
just
set
wants
up
to set up
this
for his
gank,
jungler,
right?
no?
Yeah.
Yeah, his Skarner's bot side.
That's probably the idea. Does that make sense, Richard? That's probably the main idea.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, I think the timing is just a bit awkward because they know that Brand is pathing down here as well. It's a little bit fast from him. Or, but yeah, I'd say yeah, like Henry said, it's the main reason is probably to set up a jungle gank because like if he doesn't base and he stays, then it guarantees that this wave will freeze, right, or stay here somewhere here,
Yeah.
right? And then that should set up the gank quite nicely. You can base a Ruby Crystal, you're right, but it if you base a Ruby Crystal, then you're gonna be a couple seconds behind the Kaisa, right? And then it's
Yeah.
like a lot harder to set up this gank now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
would
they're just
say.
trying to utilize
Mhm.
the item advantage that Peppa has at the moment.
Yeah. I would say like maybe like if your Skarner decided to path top this game, then it it might make more sense for you to base as the rel in the earlier scenario, right? Because like this game we knew that the brand was pathing bot, so like you probably wouldn't be able to hold this freeze anyway. But with Skarner pathing down, it makes more sense.
Hmm.
Okay. Cool. He just went a little bit early. That's probably it. Or that's a mistake. Okay. Yeah, so he gets punished here. So here, I guess, yeah, quick question for you. Like, why does he path mid instead of bot? Would you path mid here or bot?
I mean, I feel like actually I think I need to. Could you play it? I want
Okay,
to
I'll go
see.
back here. So he just died. The brand just killed him. This brand jungle.
And then Jin's going back. Bart's going back. Uh, I no. I think. I mean, I think I would open mid. I think.
Okay, why would you open mid?
I mean, just to help. I mean, just in case something happens at mid, and then maybe get a control ward down. But
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I'd say like the main driver is like the Jin. Like you have a lot of time on this
yeah,
time because the Jin is like kind of late. Do you know what I mean? Like the Jin is recalling now, and then you already respawn, so you don't need to go bot super
yeah,
fast.
immediately. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying.
Yeah, I guess nah, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Like, and it's probably like just in general just better to give your AD some solo XP, right? The levels are really important. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay,
no, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
okay. Um, you had a question about if they thought if he thinks they're on Drake, right? That was your question.
Later on, I
Or I
assume.
thought you had
What
a
is it?
question. Is he here to see if they start Drake, right? At 4:30. Do you remember this question?
I think probably YouTube timer 4:30. I think.
Oh, okay. My bad, my bad,
I
my bad,
mean,
my
that's
bad.
what I think. I mean, I don't know why I would ask it now. It's not even on.
Yeah, I guess that
So,
was my confusion. Oh, okay, you're talking about this timer, right?
I think I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
What did I say? I said,
You
why did he
said,
path up?
is he
Uh,
here to see if they start drill? Do you remember
uh,
which timer you're talking about?
yeah, I think it is the YouTube timer when
Okay,
I see where I am. But if you could play it out,
okay, yeah. Oh, I see. Are you just wondering like why he's like not retreating and he's like
oh yeah,
standing
because I
here?
feel like as soon as you see, I mean, it's easy for me to say that after like
Yeah.
watching it in this perspective, but like, I mean, as soon as you see the Scar leave, like
Yep.
you don't have, like you're gonna lose.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
just
I guess Barty's not wrong.
he just doesn't think he's gonna die. Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
here he doesn't think he's here he's definitely fine. And then
I mean, I probably would do the same to be honest, but I don't know. It feels. Oh, and then
Yeah.
here, yeah,
I think he
yeah.
just like yeah. He's just a little. He was a bit surprised that he died here too. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised too. Right? Like he's definitely fine here. Right? So like it's kind of nice to like waste Brand's time in this scenario. Right? As long as you can.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. But I feel like the fact that he got caught out was kind of wild.
Yeah. I'm surprised he died here.
And I think my next question when I that I put was why didn't like I feel like he could have gone out. Like I feel like there was a lot of
Like if he just. Or do you think he could have played it better?
yeah. I mean like as soon as you see this like I feel like you just run up. Um or just like you wait until your W so you can jump over the wall. I know they can stop that, but
Oh, you're
I don't
saying
know.
jump over this wall, or
I mean at first he could have gone up just to red buff and then because like here he stuns them and he
yeah.
W's right away, but I feel like he could have walked a little bit and then jump over
I
that
see.
wall to for it.
Yeah, I see, I see, I see. Yeah, I think you're right.
So I mean, I don't, maybe the brand would have gotten the stun off, but I feel like he panicked a little too fast and then
I think you're right. I think you're right. You're saying he could have like staggered the Q and the W a little bit more, right?
yeah, and actually made it over.
Yeah, or maybe you're saying like this wall, right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that wall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the.
I think you're right. I think he should have lived here. Yeah. That's probably why he felt like he was surprised that he died here. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, no, that's a good question though. No. But yeah, it's not like he doesn't. If yeah, like it's not. He's just trying to waste the brand's time. He just got punished for it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand that,
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay. Cool. Let me change this. And then you had. So yeah, I think. So yeah, I thought you were going off in game timers. We can see. Um. You had a question here. I guess for this Grubs fight, I think this is the fight you're talking about. You had a question that was like, Nar should be on the flank, right? I guess you're asking if Nar should flank. Is it? Do you remember? Is it this picture?
yeah, 'cause I mean, yeah, it was this one. It was this timer.
Yeah. So like, if you see like where the Gnar is coming from, so they're starting the Grubs here, and the Gnar is coming from mid because I don't know, he's like late on tempo or something, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'd say like it's like ideally he would be on a flank, but like it's because he's so late
Yeah,
that
okay,
he just can't in
yeah,
this
that's what
scenario.
I was wondering, like the ideal play of where he would be.
Yeah, like I'd say like if Gnar, I think ideally, right, Gnar would have pushed in top, and then like he would be like, I don't know, maybe like somewhere here or something like that. I don't really know,
Mhm.
right? But yeah, I'd say like ideally he'd be on a flank. It's just not possible this time. But yeah, that's the right idea. Yeah. Um, did I have anything else here? Okay, that's pretty much it. And then the next question: why wouldn't you go bot when Grubs? I think you're talking about Rift Herald. When Rift Herald is secured, and then you can cover the gank. So
Was this an in-house? I mean, not in-house, whatever it's called. Champs
Champions
queue.
queue, yeah. But this is like before World started, maybe a week before World started.
Yeah.
I think here you're saying, so
I
yeah,
was wondering
Rift.
why 4JJ VOD over like I don't know other someone else.
There's just not that many support streamers.
Oh,
Um,
I see.
yeah, I'd say this is like the role that honestly gets like featured the least in like the LCK Pros channel. Like
Oh yeah, no,
there's
that's
like
like
nothing.
50% ADC, 20-30% jungle, like
Yeah,
10 20% everything else.
but it's because like they just don't. I don't know. I don't know if it's because like the support POV reveals too much info or what. But like yeah, they just don't have anything. I don't know.
Oh, that.
I can't find the BLG on guy. I can't find his stream. I don't even know if he streams, but I really can't
Like
find anything
VLG
about
on's
him.
like the goat.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Richard, your question is like, yeah, since um yeah, like obviously they're going to drag, right? The main team's going to drag. So then this rift is ours, right?
Yeah.
So then your question is like, how come he doesn't go bot? And
Yeah, like I know you can set up vision for
Mhm.
top side so Ori feels safe or whatever, but I feel like
Yeah.
ideally this Gnar looks like he looks like a freaking a prisoner that dropped a soap. Like they're gonna touch him.
Yeah, I would say my answer to you, he should click the Gnar in a second here. My answer to you is like the Gnar is just too weak. You'll see his items here. Like, alright, so this is, can you see? It's a little bit hard,
Yeah.
maybe. This is his item. He doesn't even have one completed item. So like, I think that the thought process is like, even if he comes bot here, they're just gonna get dove anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like he can't, even if he comes bot here, it's not like they're going to win this 2v4,
That's fair. Yeah, the
right?
turret's kind of low. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the, yeah, so like if they can't defend this turret, then there's no reason for you to be here. And then R should just concede the turret and then just defend the second turret. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the idea. That should be the thought process. Yeah. I'd say like if your Gnar is like super strong this game and you think you guys can win this 2v4 and you can, help and slash save him under the turret, then it makes sense to come here. Yeah. But
Mm.
if you come here, you guys are just gonna get dove because the Gnar is not very strong. Yeah. You have to keep in mind we see 3 on screen here, but it should be I don't remember for sure, but I think it might even be 4 people that we can expect from the enemy team here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, okay. And then why did he take so long to engage on Kenny? Okay, I think I remember.
I think it was at the bot play.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't even know they had a cannon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this play, right? So I think your question is like, why doesn't he just, I don't know, flash on the cannon, right?
Mm.
Or is that your question? Just to
I
confirm.
think so. Yeah. I mean, I see the merit in holding it, but like, let's see.
What's the merit in holding it? What's your thought process?
I mean, I feel like if you hold it, the brand has to play back.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna be too scared to engage. But like Skarner I feel like he wasted a lot for something that could have been better.
I-
But yeah, now the more I look at it, I feel like it's not as big of a deal as it's not out to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think from my perspective, like the main reason you see like this Kennon's positioning, right? Like he's like it's almost like he's like posturing like he's gonna flash and try and kill this Ori before
Yeah,
he dies,
it,
right?
it
Like
definitely- yeah,
right, he's like right, and like let's say I don't know, for some reason he's just psychotic and he's like bluffing, right? Like let's just say he's like bluffing and he doesn't actually have flash. Well, if he doesn't have flash, then he's just gonna die here, right? Like how like because he can't run. Do you know what I mean? Like he was only he like only almost got away because he had flash, right? But like the thing is, if you flash on the cannon here, then he's gonna flash out and then maybe he's gonna live, right?
yeah,
And if he doesn't have flash, then he's just dead because he can't run from this picture. How can he run, right?
yeah. I wasn't sure if there was any intention of like flash queuing just to like. I mean, I feel like once you flash Q, then and all the other CC, like he can't get out, and there's something about just killing him really fast. But
Yeah, I think he wants like just higher value out of his flash, because like
yeah, that's what I
mhm,
was also thinking for.
yeah, like the only way this cannon lives is yeah, I mean it's just unlikely that this cannon lives just no matter what, right? So like if you flash for like what's almost like a guaranteed kill, this is probably like 95% guaranteed kill, do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Then it's maybe not worth it. You know what I mean? Because like we see 2 people here, maybe his thought process is that he can use his flash, maybe he can grab these 2 people on the way out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I think that's the idea though. But yeah, like I'd say like just kind of if you look at how the way the cannon is posturing here, like it is good for the rel to hold their spells here, right? Just in case the cannon just decides to go psycho and flash on our Ori. Do you know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
like it's just kind of weird like the way he's posturing, right? Like you know what I mean? Like yeah.
I feel like Cordelia should have just been sitting in the trap bush, but whatever.
You
Just like,
should you mean just not show?
yeah.
Yeah, like
We
just
literally
sit
just
here.
here. He gets
Yeah.
so much value.
Yeah, he could just come this way maybe. Yeah. I think Caps is probably okay even if he gets flashed on because he's Oriana, but it's hard to say. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think the flash ulti from Core here was not the most impactful, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I would have geared my flash ult a little bit closer to the board, if anything. But I don't know. He almost died.
Yeah, yeah. Not the best, I think. Yeah, but they're pretty important flashes, right? Rel flash is important, and then the cannon tried to flash to escape, and cannon flash is super important as well. So um, just things to keep in mind. Okay. You had a question. 2140. Yeah. Like whether I guess we can watch this fight. So they're like super, or they're like pretty damn behind as a team at this point. I think your question is wondering like if he should have flashed here, right? Is that what you're getting at with your question? You
Yeah,
said,
why do it take so long again? Okay. Is flanking really?
or
No, I think flash is more important than life.
I'm assuming you meant this fight, but I guess yeah, I'm just
Let's see.
assuming, right? Because I don't have the exact timer, but well, I guess were you saying would you have flashed in this scenario? Is that what
Maybe,
you're questioning?
maybe engage. I think when I was writing that, I noticed that like throughout the game he saves flash a lot,
Hmm.
and I think it's just for the purpose of just saving flash for the next fight. And I
Yeah.
feel like there's been some scenarios where he actually could have gone out,
Hmm.
but he just doesn't. He just holds on to
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good observation or a really good question. Yeah, I'd say like if you can flash out and live and the fight is still going on where you can still make an impact, then it might be worth flashing and saving your life. Does that make sense? That was a lot of words, I guess, but like what did I write here? I said um yeah, I guess there's just a lot to consider, right? Like first of all, if he flashes and still dies, then it's terrible, right?
yeah.
Um, but if he can flash and live and then still and like use that extra time he has to make a difference in the outcome of the fight, then it might be worth it, right? But like, let's say he flashes here and he does live, right? So like, let's say he like flashes here to dodge the Jin 4 shot or whatever, and he lives. It doesn't matter because the fight is over.
So he should just die.
Yeah, because then you can make a strong, OP impact in the next fight,
I
right?
think
Does
I
that
think
does that make
like,
sense?
analyzing like if that's even worth because like if the enemy team's full healthy, like they're just gonna go straight Baron because you died. But like if you were still like if you just start backing right there, but you don't have flash, like you get at least it's still a 5v5.
No, but
So
the
I don't
thing
know.
is, when you're
I just
this
have a hard time
low,
processing. Yeah.
yeah, when you're this low, right? Like let's say he flashes the fourth player, right? He flashes here or something, right? And you're this low, you cannot fight the Baron anyway. Do you mean?
Yeah, you'd have to back at least.
Yeah, but we don't have enough time, right? Because like you'd have to back and then come back to Baron, but they would just start it, right? They would see your conditions here and they would just start the Baron,
That's fair.
right? Yeah, so it's like, yeah, you'll see like recently in a lot of the world's games, a lot of the times like when there's like a 5v5 standoff for like a drag or a Baron objective, a lot of the times they'll try and chunk out the enemy support because
Yeah.
like that if that's their main initiator, you as a rel, if you're like 20% HP, how can you engage? Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you have every summoner. If you're 20% HP, you're going to get one shot, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. Even if you live here, I think they can just push mid and then probably look to force the Baron, right? Look at yeah, even the Skarner's conditions, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But does that apply to early game too, where it's like you can live, but like,
Early,
is it
yeah, that's also a good question. So early game, it's definitely more worth to flash to save your life. Yeah.
just so they don't get the gold?
Yeah, exactly. But like I'd say like mid late game, it's because a lot of your engages are so heavily dependent on your flash that you need to consider whether it's worth it more. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
does that make sense? Okay. And then your last question was on, I think, his last flank on the Baron here. So we can play this setup here. So yeah, once again, their team is super behind. Just trying to get what vision he can. They have some slight mid prio here, so they can drop their wards first. I guess, what was your question about? Like, do you think this flank is bad, or your initial question was like, is flanking really an option? And then, I'm not sure what you mean by this, but
Let's see.
what was your initial question here?
Let's see. Like I know this, like this is like it looks really good,
Hmm.
but at the same time, like the whole point of like pushing the jungle away so they can't get close to the Baron, and I feel like you kind of already gave them that opportunity, and then um. And I think I'm not sure what exactly happens later, but I feel like he engaged too early where his team couldn't engage.
Yeah, I would say the execution wasn't great from what I remember. But I guess,
I
what do
mean,
you, what do
it's
you,
really like good if your team turns like right now onto them and like I don't know they just go in, then yeah, it turns out pretty good. But I feel like zoning would have been better
oh,
in that bush.
you're saying maybe he should have stood in this bush and then.
No, I mean, I think so, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I think like if he stands in I think if he stands in this bush, like this bush, there's no way they're gonna fish check that bush. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not like stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like they would. Yeah, there's no way they'd fish check that bush. And like I would say like it's a lot harder when you're playing. Hmm, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just a lot easier to execute if you're coming from behind them personally, rather than like just head on front to back.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Um, I'd say this execution is a little bit unfortunate because, oh fuck, what did I press? Because he lost vision of the brand, but I feel like the idea is. I'm trying to think if it's better. I think it's better. I think they just need to go at the same time. Like I don't know if Yikes E is on cooldown, but like I'm not sure why he's not charging in now, right? Like he needs to charge it now to like give vision of the brand so that they can CC him. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say like a lot of the times if you are playing just a melee champ in general and you are trying to get onto, range champs just front to back, a lot of times you're just gonna get kited out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a
Like
little harder.
it's a
Yeah,
little bit hard. And he does have flash, so like I can understand where you're coming from. Like maybe it does work if he stands in this bush, but um, I think this is I I think this is better still. I think it's probably a little bit more consistent in general.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. There's a couple of factors here in general. So like, I think I had a comment about, yeah. So I'd say flanking would not be okay here if like, so like they start hitting the Baron, they start pulling the Baron to like draw the enemy team in, right? So that he can
Yeah.
get a better flank angle, right? But I would say flanking is really hard to do if you're the primary front line. And this is maybe more important for our team. If like Wanjin's playing like Kindred or Graves, it's a lot harder for him to tank the Baron like this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like it's gonna take you some time to find the flank, right? So like if the Baron is hitting like a Kindred or Graves in this scenario, they're gonna lose actually quite a bit of HP. The Baron actually does a lot of damage now, right? But because he's playing Skarner in this kind of game, like it's totally fine. Like he has a lot of time to find this flank because Skarner can tank the Baron for a good amount of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just something to consider, like if you're the primary front line.
So
Okay.
should you still if he was that if that Skarner was a Kindred,
Hmm.
would it be better to zone or would it be better to tank it? Or is it just
Yeah. Then
like if it was
it's
an identical situation, but just
yeah. I'd say the fight becomes a lot harder for sure because like I'd say maybe we don't even pull the Baron and then um we try and fight for this vision somehow.
I see.
Yeah. But I think pulling the Baron would not be a good idea if we had Graves or Kindred here. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay. Any questions on this VOD? The next one, I know you don't have as many questions, so that one should be faster.
Yeah, that should be it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I guess one thing I do want to ask you, like, so this game, like, their team fell incredibly far behind, and I know, like, in all of our NECC games, like, a lot of them have been like stomps. Our recent scrims have been stomps as well. So like, Um, you guys haven't really had to ask yourselves, or like, yeah, you guys haven't really had to like ask yourself these questions as much, but like when you're behind, obviously the game is a lot harder to play, right? Because you're just weaker, you're slower on tempo because it's just a lot harder to play, right? Like that's just
Yeah.
the name of the game, right? So when you're behind, I guess what should you thinking about? Because like if we are behind and we are just taking even numbered fights, theoretically, we're going to lose the fight, right? Because we're behind. We're behind on items. We're behind on gold. We're behind on levels, right? So I guess, what should you be playing towards? What kind of spikes should you be playing towards? Like how do you win the fight when you're behind? What should you be thinking of? I guess is my question.
Uh, I mean, if
It's
it
like
was just,
open-ended, right? Yeah.
if you mean just by like, how do you win a team fight? I mean, ideally, you would your macro would be better, so you would like get the small objectives of
Mm-hmm.
towers and whatnot.
Okay.
But I mean, I think the simplest one is just like if you can fight with uneven numbers where they're
Mm-hmm.
uneven, or just catch them out,
Mm-hmm.
or win the vision war. I don't know. I feel like that's helpful.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of it is for sure tempo. That's for sure. That can give you, some small advantages here and there so that you can, catch someone out of guard, out of position, and win a team fight that way, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I'd say another one that is also really important that I think I want you to start thinking about as a support is like, I guess.
Objective.
No, I mean the stuff you said is related to objectives, but like let's say like the enemy team is also on time for the objective, like the same time as us, right? But we're behind on golden levels, then it's probably gonna be a losing fight, right? So I guess what I'm trying to get at is like just in general in the games, like if you look at this kind of team comp, who is gonna carry this game? Who's gonna do who's gonna do the big damage in these fights?
Kaizen, Oriana.
And then maybe even Gnar, right? A strong
Yeah.
Gnar is actually really scary as well, right? But yeah, I'd say generally it's probably, well, I guess with our team, Well, that's not necessarily, yeah. With our team, no, it just depends on the champs, honestly. But I guess Henry will always play a carry. Josh depends, right?
Yeah.
Wang Jun is probably almost always playing some sort of carry, and then David, I guess it depends sometimes as well. But I'd say almost always a carry, right? So I guess we just have more carries because our playstyle is a little bit different. But yeah, I guess it just depends on the champ, right? So like you need to identify who is going to be your big damage dealers in the game, right? And like we need to find a way to channel them gold. Do you know what I mean? So like when we're behind, for example, like I think the easiest thing, let's see if you ever press this tab this game, right? Obviously his team is behind, right? Like that's like been the story of this whole game, right? But if you look at the items here, we said you identified Ori and the Kaisa as like the big damage dealers, right? The big carries, right? In terms of items, are we behind?
Let's see. Top is behind. Middle is roughly the same. Middle is winning,
Hmm.
and bottom ADC is low key winning, and then support. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, we don't care about support items really. We don't care about the Skarner items really.
But yeah, our carries are winning.
Yeah, we're definitely not weak, right? Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So like yeah, it's like this kind of, you just gotta like pay attention, right? Cause like let's say, I don't know, like all these players are pros, so they're like a lot better at farming when they're behind. So they can like still hit their item spikes pretty quickly after the enemy hits their item spikes, even when the enemy is ahead, if that makes sense, right? So like, but there will be games, this is even more important in solo queue, right? Where like, let's say, like, I don't know, let's say our Kai'Sa is like farming really shit this game or something, right? Let's say like our Kai'Sa has like Guinsoo's, or sorry, Shiv, and then like only components of the Guinsoo's. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then like we should probably wait for her to get the Guinsoo spike before we look for a fight. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times it's like, like we're not, like when you're ahead throughout the whole game, honestly, you don't even need to look at tab that much because you are always going to have more gold, so you are probably always going to be at an item advantage and thus probably stronger. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But like when you're behind, it's especially important that we're checking for that we have our spikes so that we can fight on, as even of a ground as possible, right? So like let's say like we have the Jin and the Kaisa are reversed here, right? Let's say we have the Jin and they have the Kaisa, right? Um, I don't really care that the Kaisa has another blasting wand and an amp tome. It's more important that, relatively they're both on two items, right? You could say the Kaisa has 2.5 items, but it's really about the item completions that's, the most important, or like the easiest way you can kind of track or gauge strength is what I'm trying to say, right? So like obviously the Kaisa is going to hit, we don't want the Kaisa to hit her third item spike before the next fight, because then it's going to create a big advantage, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if we have the Jin here, then this is, we kind of want to fight on this timer, right? Because like the longer we wait it out, it's going to be worse for us because the Kaisa is going to get her third item spike and then we're going to be in trouble again, right? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? Okay, so just something to think about. I know like we haven't really been put in super difficult positions in our scrims a lot of the times, but it's especially important when you're behind. Okay. Do you have any questions about that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't
Okay.
have any questions.
Okay, we can go over this kind of quickly. Yeah, I think you had a question about like why did he get yellow trinket and then swap to red trinket, right? I think that's your first question.
I know that is a common thing. And I kind of sorry. Actually, can I see the play?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll turn on his comms.
Want me to embed everything? Let's see. I chance that Olaf can
Oh,
read
send me up.
check me the blue.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling they use the middle bush.
I try to push bot and put the ward.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know why he has this strong feeling that there's a ward in the mid bush, but I don't know. Maybe he's scrimmed against them a couple times or something like that. But did you hear his
High
com?
chance that Olaf can
Oh,
read
send him here.
check me the blue.
No,
And
what
I have
do
a
you
strong
say?
feeling they use.
Let's see.
It's come down.
High chance that Olaf can
Oh,
read
send him here.
check me the blue.
And I have a strong feeling they use the middle bush ward.
I guess he's trying.
They
I
use
guess
the Sunday board.
he said he has a strong feeling that they used a mid bush ward. I think that's what he said. You can.
High chance that Olaf can
Oh,
read
send him here.
check me the blue.
And I have a strong feeling they use the middle bush ward.
So yeah, I don't know how he knows that, honestly. Maybe, yeah, like I said, maybe he scrimmed against them a few times, but I guess I would not be able to tell personally. So I think that's the reason why he swapped to Red Trinket. I think your question is getting at like why. I think you're seeing that Tahm Kench is a melee support, so then you're wondering why he doesn't just start Red Trinket, right? Is that your question, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would say, yeah, there's a couple. I think I've been telling you to just start Red Trinket on like the melee supports, but there's a little bit more to that. Like the idea of the red trinket start is like you have, or a lot of times the red trinket start will allow you to get kill pressure in the lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like the whole point of the red trinket start, right? So like, um, I think from what I can tell, like he just likes starting yellow trinket on Tahm Kench. I wouldn't consider Tahm Kench like a kill lane, like Alistar or Rel or Nautilus even, right? Like the way Tahm Kench plays is really kind of like a poke champ almost, where he's constantly throwing out Qs to poke people out. Do you see that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
Braum.
yeah, like Braum. Braum has a little bit more kill threat than Kench because like
Wait. Okay. No, that's surprising. I would not expect that.
yeah, because like Braum you can theoretically just force your passive. You could just Q flash onto them, right? And like there's some kill threat there, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say the way Tahm Kench plays, it is pretty unique, where he is really just trying to poke out the enemy this game. So I think that's the reason why he starts Yellow Trinket. I wouldn't say it's bad to start Red Trinket, but I think that's the idea here. I think some other things that I want you to change with like the yellow versus red trinket start, and I want you to adapt to. So like, I want you to think about if you're going to be strong-sided or weak-sided, right? So like maybe that's something Wanjun says before the game starts, or maybe you can ask Wanjun, as you're loading into the game. But like, if you're going to be, what did I say in my notes? Like, if you're going to be weak side, if you're going to be weak sided, yellow trinket is probably better, right? Like the whole point of red trinket is like you have kill pressure, you can set up the ganks easier, right? Because you're denying vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to be weak sided, right? So like let's say like before the game started, I'm just using this as an example, right? Let's say before the game started, the Poppy is saying I'm going to path bot to top this game, right? So you guys know you're going to be weak sided. Then even if you're playing Alistar or Rel or Nautilus, I think it makes more sense to start Yellow Trinket in those games because like you kind of want that safety of a ward. Like you want some sort of safety, right? Because like you don't need the red trinket to set up any ganks because your jungler's not going to be on your side of the map for a long time. Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you can change the way, like you don't have to go red trinket every game. I told you to go red trinket every game because I just want it to be easier to start off with. Okay, but I want you to adapt based on what the junglers are doing. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this, you see the way that Tahm Kench plays, it's like very unique. In the lane here, like we'll watch the first couple levels here. You see, it's kind of like pokey, right? So you like Qs, auto, weave in and out, right?
Yeah.
And
But I
then
feel like with his E and his second one, I feel like he heals a lot, right? Like.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so like
Oh,
you are just gonna win the sustain war, right? You Q them, you out sustain them with your E, your level HP, right? That's kind of the idea. Um,
yeah.
yeah, your second question here is like, why don't they auto the ward, right? So we can play this clip out. Oh,
Like I understand, but at the same time, like I don't know. That's 25 gold.
no, yeah. So my answer for you is like they actually have kill threat here if
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah. So like oh yeah, I guess yeah, if you understand that they have kill threat, then like the problem is if they auto the ward, then the Jin is gonna use his bullets on the ward, and then they don't have kill threat anymore. Does that make
I
sense?
see. Oh, that was not the reasoning. I thought it's like once you auto it, they get vision of you, so
No,
they
that's also
like.
true. You're also right about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but like yeah, if you auto, so yeah, I think the first point is or I guess the first point is the one I made about Jin wasting his bullets, right? Because like obviously the four shot's gonna do more damage, which is better for the all in, right?
Yeah.
And then yeah, the second point is the one you said. So like if they auto the ward here, then the Senna will get vision of the Kench, and then will space accordingly. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? But
Yeah.
like as soon as he when does he red trinket? As soon as he red trinkets here, now the Senna doesn't know if he is backing up completely or if he's even walking
Mhm.
forward, right?
Yeah.
So that's yeah, like that will give a lot of kill pressure is the idea, right? Like I would say like if there's no kill pressure at all, it makes sense to kill the ward, like you said. But because there's actual kill pressure in this level one exchange, he he wants to deny the vision.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
So like Rel early game or like other champions like not. I know using your flash early is not like the worst thing
Uh-huh.
because you have hex flash.
Yeah.
Um, like earlier when he almost got that third stack, would it not be ideal to flash Q? Because I feel like she would be taken down to like half health. Like
You're saying
like kind of like I guess he's on his fourth bullet, but
here.
like right there before he got that third stack, if he flashed, autoed, queued, and then just like ignited,
He,
and then like
yeah, you're saying
right
here, right? Flash auto
flash
queue.
Q.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Or
I
like,
don't know. I guess you might be right, honestly. I'm not 100% sure, but you might be right, honestly. He's obviously like knows more about Kench than me. Maybe he doesn't think there's. Maybe he doesn't think they can get a kill. I don't know, honestly, but
that's fair.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, maybe there's like a potential missed kill here.
I wasn't sure because I know Tom Kench does a lot of damage, but I mean I'm still learning him, so I don't know
Mhm.
his limits on everything.
Yeah, I mean you might be right. I really don't know. That's a good point though. No, not sure. I think something you will figure out if you're playing more Kench, for sure.
I'm scared to play him in a solo queue. I don't want to
You're leveling up.
88
You're
damage.
leveling up your other account, right?
It's level 20 or like 1920, so
Yeah, dude, that shit takes
Wait, do
forever.
you all want to vote? Richard, do you all want to buy accounts?
no, I'm okay.
Well,
I work too hard. It's already level 20.
Okay.
Bro, a loss gives you like nothing. If you lose a game, you get nothing. So
Damn.
Okay, so one thing that I think, yeah, this Kench champ is just super unique, right? Like, do you see the runes he's taking? Like, he's taking Grasp, and then I guess it's either Grasp or Guardian from what I can tell for Kench, but I guess he knows this lane dynamic really well, where you can already tell from the level one that they're trading so often, so he's actually getting Grasp value. Does that make sense? But I'd say
yeah,
like, yeah, normally like when you're playing, Nautilus, Leona and stuff like that, you're never taking grass, right? It's just like the way Kench plays, where grass actually has some value.
is this so you just get more health?
Yeah, and I guess why is health really good on Kench? Do you know?
I mean, I could argue that it's because he just goes in like ham, but I actually don't know because I feel like other engaged champs do that as well. They just
Yeah,
engage.
I know for sure his auto attacks scale off of HP. I don't know if it's from his
Oh,
ulti
is it?
or his passive or something like that, but for sure his auto attacks scale off HP, and then I don't know if his other abilities do, but that's why he's doing so much damage.
Hello.
Hello.
Although
What you
Uh,
guys up to?
I'm reviewing with
they're
Richard,
Ron
bro.
VOD reviewing Core JJ.
Yeah, so health is really important on Kench, and then I guess, do you know what this approach velocity rune does, Richard?
Once you CC, you get more movement speed.
Uh-huh.
That's for like your Q, right? So you just chase them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's and yeah, it's gonna help you get the grass proc off as well, right? So like he throws his lick, they're slowed, and then he gets move speed when he's running towards them and stuff. Ashe also takes this rune for like a similar reason, right? Like when David plays Ashe, he throws a volley, and then he gets move speed towards them and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 My autos and W all proc.
Yeah,
I guess
super
all my
super good.
abilities.
Yeah. And then, do you know what the Kench build is, Richard? Or like, what's the first item? It's also like very unique, kind of.
Hard steel.
Yeah, and I guess why is Heartsteel good on this jam?
Scale on Q.
Yeah, and then I guess I don't know if you know this, but Heartsteel also increases the size of your champ. Did you know
Wait,
that?
does that work on his ult or his E or his W where he jumps?
That's on his
Uh,
queue.
yeah, it works on his Q. I don't. It probably works on his W too, honestly, because he's bigger, right? I would think so, but yeah, it definitely works on his Q. So you have your Q range is longer because you're like you have a bigger tongue, basically. You know what I mean?
Wait, is it actually like a bigger tongue or
Yeah,
does
no,
it
it's
just
actually
No,
bigger.
it's legit bigger. It's like
Yeah.
way bigger.
like it scales? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it scales.
Yeah. It gets really.
It's kind of funny, yeah. But that's the idea, right? That's the idea. So like Heartsteel gives you a lot of health, gives you bigger size, all things that Tom Kench wants, for sure. And if you watch, so like this game was a stomp, so like it didn't happen. Like if you watch this first Tom Kench game that I uploaded, like you'll see he's buying Heartsteel and then he's just buying Elixir of Irons. And like why is he buying Elixir of Irons? Early. Like super early. Like earlier than like any other like than Rel or Nihilus would. Why is he buying it so early?
I mean, just a little power spike.
Yeah, it gives HP, right? But it also increases your size again.
Yeah, your Tanat. Yeah, that.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Okay. So yeah, that's the idea. You'll see the first game. It's like I think I can pull it up real quick. Like it's kind of funny. This champ is very unique actually. Dude, is my fucking internet.
We're picking up Tom Kench.
I think Richard wants to try some new champs, which is fine. I mean, Kench is a fine pick. It's more like you need to put in the games for it. Okay, so look, if you look at his inventory here, like it's just Heartsteel and then Elixir of Iron, right?
Yeah.
And it's just
He's
like
so big.
yeah, like
For
look how much
one-
HP he has, right?
Disgusting. Why don't you admit yourself, you bum?
Yeah, he didn't even pop the elixir yet, but it's like boom, 3k HP, level 9, 18 minutes, right? And look at his Q here, like you're like a menace. Look at this guy.
Do you want to wait for your Q to get the three? You know how for Heartsteel like it slows,
Or
or I mean, you have to wait 3 seconds or whatever. Should you wait for that and then Q, so you do more damage, or does it not really matter?
I don't know if your Q procs Heartsteel. I think you have to auto. But yeah, like I mean, it's not like I'd say if you can get Heartsteel procs, it's nice, but like obviously focus on the fight itself. Do you know what I mean? Like yeah. But I don't know if you can tell. Like maybe it's a little bit hard to tell, but his Q is bigger for sure. Maybe it's a little bit hard to tell, right? And if you think about it, yeah.
And should you ever release them, or should you just let your teammate do what they?
You should let your teammate do. I'm pretty sure you should just let your teammate do what they think is best. Yeah. But yeah, like this is kind of crazy that it's 3k HP, right? Level 9 with one item basically. Alright, so um, just Tom Kench things for sure.
Yeah, that's looking bad.
Okay, let me see. I know you have a couple more comments. Yeah, I think. Okay, your next question is like pretty soon, so we can watch out this next minute here. Yeah, so they're trading really well. So Poppy is strong starting them. She's just annoying them. We see the Vi. I think. Let me see. Your next question is about um, like why the Senna and the Nyla are fighting them. I think that's your question. You can tell me if I'm thinking of the wrong timer, but I think your question is here, like why did the Senna walk up, right, or something? Like, is that your question?
Let's see. I'm gonna read exactly what I wrote. 4 minutes. Enemy is really low, but they aren't engaging. Was that my question? Are you looking at the 4 minute timer?
So yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, I guess I'm not exactly sure if you're talking about. I guess it's like really similar, right? Like the in-game timer versus the YouTube timer, but
Oh yeah,
for
I think this is the right timer.
okay, you're talking about like here, like why did the Senna
Yeah,
walk
yeah,
up,
yeah.
right? Yeah, so like obviously he knows the TK's in their jungle. I think he saw TK here, right?
Mm.
I'm pretty sure. So like I mean this is obviously a mistake by the Senna, but I think he just thinks that he has time to squeeze in an auto before the Tahm Kench comes back to lane.
That's fair.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it is just a mistake from him. Yeah, it's just really bad by them, for sure. Does that answer your
I
question?
think that question was actually around here. Actually, no. I guess they're really low that they can't really farm. Or like even here, like should the center be that scared? Okay, I guess she should be scared of walking out, but
Yeah, this is also another mistake by the Senna. I don't know who this player is, but I don't know how he dies like this. But I mean, they're probably going to get dove anyway, but um, yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing.
I see. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I was asking. Just
Yeah, I think the Senna just made a couple mistakes there. Okay, and then here it's like, yeah, once again, like, okay, so our AD carry is spacing, Jin spacing, and it's like, I think he feels inclined to,
to stay. Like,
uh-huh, yeah, because like if he doesn't stay, we will lose this wave. That's for sure, right?
yeah, this one,
This
this
one
one I
makes more
see.
sense to you, right?
Yeah, this one makes a lot more sense. And then he can also stop the back. He could stop the back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this one makes more
This
sense to you, right? Yeah.
Roots, like if he gets stunned during his W animation, it stops it, right? Like it doesn't go through.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I was thinking if he could just stop the Q by just running in, but I guess he might die. If he just
Yeah, I think if he W's it, he's gonna die. Yeah.
or even
Um,
Qs it, like or just Qs. I guess he's too far. But
yeah, if he tries to Q, honestly, what the Senna should do is just block.
yeah, body block it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only way he can
Yeah,
stop this back is if he W's.
I agree with this freeze.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. This one makes more sense to you, right? But I guess you have to see it, or you have to see it like here, where like it really just depends on like the enemy AD carry, right? Nyla is also a pretty unique champ where like she can actually wave clear pretty fast. Yeah, I'd say like even if the Senna wasn't helping her clear this next wave, she would be able to kill it before Jin comes back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just like stuff to consider on whether you need a freeze or not. Yeah. It's like more important that if your base is delayed, it it's kind of whatever, right? It's more important that your AD got their base off, got their items, is coming back with full HP, full mana to a good wave.
Yeah.
That's what's important. Okay. Um, okay, and I think that's all the questions you had. But
Yeah.
'cause, yeah, this game becomes a stomp. I mean, I understand what you mean. Like if it's a stomp, it is a little bit more unreviewable, but there's still like some good concepts there and stuff, right?
That's fair.
But if
Yeah.
you want like a better game to watch, it's gonna be the first VOD. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, Brad. That was
Uh-huh.
all my questions of those VODs.
Yeah,
for
that's
Matt.
good. Yeah, I'd say yeah. It's good that you're asking questions. Just give me in-game timers instead, and then yeah, I think some of your questions are a little confusing, so if you can clarify them, that'd be good for me.
No, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Sounds good.